Mic check, 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 check. Mic check. Let me see if this is. Oh, man. Mic check, 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 check. Mic check, check. Mic check, 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 check. Yep, you can hear me? Okay, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Let me get this all sent back out. Ah, how frustrating. Okay, so how you doing, Mark? Thanks for checking in. Go update these links that I posted up. Location. Let's see here. Edit post. Save. It's funny, I posted this on so many different places, and now it's like I had everybody joining me, but kind of lost it there. So let me see if I can get this set back up. Here we go. Yeah. All right, here we go. No, oh wow, if it clears up, I can go. Nice. No, no, I'm not using Restream. I'm just using the Studio webcam, YouTube Studio, and then I'm just using the webcam feature. And what's weird is that like I hooked up my interface and like I heard myself fine and everything sounded good, but y'all couldn't hear me. And I went back and double checked the settings, and it's set to my audio interface. I've used my audio interface to record a bunch of different stuff, so I'm not sure what happened, but it definitely definitely sucked losing my stream. And there's no like settings on once you start live streaming. There's nothing that says like, hey, this is your live. These are your settings you can change, like your webcam or your audio settings. So I'm back here just kind of on the regular display mic on my Apple Cine display. So anyways, yeah, so this is a Ask Me Anything. You can ask me any questions that you want, anything that you've been up to that you want to ask me about. I'm happy to discuss. I've been in San Antonio for, I guess, a couple of weeks now, months actually, now that I reflect on it. And I don't know, it's been a trip. I've been running our shop, and the shop's been doing well. I'm teaching 3 courses right now, and that's keeping me busy. And then I've also been, working with my kid around, and that's been really fun. So it's just been it's been quite a whirlwind of things going on. I'm working on a couple of articles, a couple of videos. I've been barbecuing. I don't know, just a lot of different things. So yeah, feel free to ask me some questions, and I'm happy to answer them. I'm just posting in a couple of different places in case people happen to come by and want to ask questions. So, so what have y'all been up to? Just go ahead, just ask a question and I will answer it. Mic works now, great. So yeah, no, I don't know what, I mean, I have this awesome I'll actually pull it over here. I have this awesome new Motu, M2, and I've been using it. I mean, I've done Zoom calls with it. I've done Facebook. I've done everything, but for some reason, it's not working on YouTube. I was talking away, and I has real time monitoring, so I was like real time monitoring myself, thinking I was talking, and I wasn't getting anything. Are you teaching the same courses when we visited? No, I am teaching a couple of different courses. So during the summer, they have like more mandatory courses that need to be taught. So like speech. So I'm teaching a speech course, and then I'm teaching a technical speech course, which is like people that are engineers or in the sciences, or kind of more like non-communication major, non-liberal art major students. And that's been really fun because, they're all into all kinds of tech and all kinds of tech projects. And so that's been really, really neat to watch kind of come together. And yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying it. So yeah, so I'm teaching 203, a 205, which are the public speaking. And then I'm teaching popular culture, which is awesome. Like the popular culture class, I am just having a really good time with, because one, there's just so much going on right now. I mean, it is truly amazing, everything that's happening in our world. We have just some really interesting phenomena taking place, whether it's about COVID, about the civil rights movements that's taking place during COVID, or all of the industries having to rethink, how they do business. I mean, everything from like restaurants to, well, I mean, we own a hi-fi store. Juan asks, you have a really cool setup. Do you do professional video work? I want to start making mini movies, but I need a good stabilizer for my phone. Yeah, actually, I do professional video work. I do it at an educational level, and I also do it at a professional level, meaning I have grants to do like teach people how to do video, and then and I have equipment for that, and then I also have equipment to do commercial work that's, aside from the professional equipment that I have. And I've been putting out some content on my other YouTube channel as part of a project. This summer, I've been working on, and the reason I'm kind of moving around is I'm getting a link for you to check this out. Let's see here. Let me refresh this. Oh, got to put in the new password. Got to think for a second because I had to update some stuff. Okay. Dang, is that a class I can take? Yeah, actually, I teach COM 230 at A&M and COM 250. So COM 230, that's a class that you gave a talk at, Mark, and at my 250 class. And yeah, no, we totally teach how to do all of this. And I've been, like I said, I've been working on some different videos. One video that I recently did was just about thinking about audio for your phone. So let me go ahead and post that up. There were a lot of interviews, but since COVID hit, it's been rough getting. Are you planning any video call interviews? Yeah, actually I am. I am planning. I have 3 lined up. I've got a community muralist that I'd really like to feature named Ernesto Cuevas, who I've worked with in the past. And I'd like to talk about his journey of growing up from migrant farm workers to going to Dartmouth to now being a community muralist and educator. I also have some people that I'd like to bring in about doing I'd like to interview my brother, which is really weird because I've never interviewed him before in my life. Now that I think about it, that is kind of weird because I've interviewed like so many different people. He's an electrical engineer, and he and I are teaming up on a project, the shop, is facilitating a design that he is trying to work out. So we've been working through some iterations of an integrated amplifier that he's designing, and I think it would be kind of cool to have him be interviewed and talk about his approach and what he's learning and the journey he's going through. I've also have a graduate student that I'd love to have on my channel. His name is Anthony Ramirez. I wish he could be joining us right now, but he's driving back home. And because one of the things I really like is for people to be able to see trajectory. And Anthony's someone that I really admire with what he's doing with his podcast. And he has a podcast called Academics and Amigos. Let me get you the links to that. That I think has worked really well. And I've been listening to all of his podcasts, and it's just been really great. Let's see here. Would I benefit from the class, or is it more just of an intro? That's super cool. I'm an electrical engineer myself, and that sounds like an awesome project. Yeah, no, he and I started off mechanical engineering. So I've done a lot of car stuff. I was also thinking about people I'd like to interview about cars. I have a friend that's a tuner that I think would be pretty cool to interview at this point in life. I met him about 10 years ago, and he has 10 years, well, more than 10 years under his belt as a tuner, but like of me getting to watch him grow. And I mean, he's beyond a pro now. I mean, he's someone that can mentor someone, and kind of talk shop with him sometime. That would be really cool. Yeah, I started off mechanical engineering. I'm very mechanically inclined. I'm also electrically inclined. If you look behind me, there's like my Weller soldering iron, and I have a solder pot and a bunch of cabling and wires that I use because I own a hi-fi store. That's where I'm at right now, is we're at Dreamanoids Hi-Fi. You'll notice there's like a bass frequency. I don't know. I can't. I'm mirrored, so it's kind of weird to touch things. But I do a lot of analysis on speakers and speaker design, amplifiers, front end for like DACs and turntables and CD players and tape decks, and just like and then reel to reel. I've just gotten to experience a lot of different things. Like when I went to UT Austin, I majored in radio, television, and film. And I was right at that cusp of the switch from analog to digital. And so we got to use like these Nagra 1/4-inch tape reel-to-reel systems to go record our projects. And they took like 12D batteries. And that was really crazy because it was just kind of like, whoa, like this is nuts. And then we would use DATs, digital audio tape. And now, like, I have my students use their phone. I mean, you can, like this, if you just joined us, I was showing my new audio interface I got. And one of the really cool things about this audio interface is that it hooks directly up to your phone. You can like literally connect it. And I have a video of me demoing that. Let me I'll put it into the chat here. Let me go back. There we go, channel videos. I have a video of me like literally showing it. It's like 2 minutes long, but I was just so excited when I got it. I went ahead and made like a short video just demoing this interface with my iPhone, because I just thought it was amazing that I can record like 2496 or I think up to 24192. Another thing I've been doing with my iPhone is I do use it with my Amazon Music, because I love listening to music, as y'all can probably guess. And so I have Amazon Unlimited, and that does FLAC files. I'm sorry for nerding out for a second, but that's FLAC files, so they're uncompressed. I mean, they're just data compressed, but not audibly compressed. And so if you use an Apple USB connector that normally you would use to hook up your phone to download your photos with, you can actually use that port and plug it into the USB input on a digital to analog converter, and you can have like uncompressed sound. And so I've been messing with that a lot as well, which has been just totally fun. In terms of Juan, you asked, would I benefit from the class or it more just an intro? My classes are weird. I have a very facilitative approach to teaching. So I'm someone that likes to give people the ability to learn at their own pace and be very facilitative. So I don't teach using templates, and I don't teach using walkthroughs or using what are they called, tutorials. So what I do instead is I kind of say, what are you passionate about? Here are the tools and theories that we traditionally use in this field that we're talking about. If we're doing audio video, which would be like an intro 230 class, and then what's your heart telling you? Like, that's how we're going to come up with a project that you're going to do. And so what ends up happening is in my classes, my students end up making a really wide array of projects, and the skill level is not so much focused on as much as your growth in terms of how you came in. And I mean, we do have some minimum standards, but what I'm really looking for is, do you have a passion for telling a story? Whether and what medium is that, and what is it that you want to accomplish with your goals, if that makes sense. And so it's not so much about because I've had students come. I mean, I'll never forget. I had this guy, Philip James, come into my class and was just like, "Oh, I already know graphic design. I know how to do vector. I know how to do rastered. I know how to." And I was like, and he started showing me, and I was like, "You do? Yeah. I mean, this course is required for your degree. You do." And so I was like, "Okay, well, cool, man. Well, do you want to get challenged, or do you just want to pretend to do work in this class?" And he was just like, "What?" And I was like, "I mean, I'll challenge you." And so he was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Well, how about Arduino?" And he's like, "What? What is that?" I was like, "Arduino." And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, "That's all I'm going to say." And he's like, "Okay, well, I don't know what you're talking about." I go, "Well, maybe you should Google it." And no joke, he comes back to class. And the reason I'm kind of looking back is because I'm pulling up a video. No joke, this kid, at the time, under 21, I consider you all kind of kids. He comes to class with this video that he's made about how he made follow focus out of an Arduino and using a wireless shield. The shield is a board that goes on top of an Arduino. And next thing everybody's kind of like, "Well, what's going on with the Arduino?" And I order some, and we start getting them in. We start doing some Raspberry Pis, and some Minecraft servers come up. And that's really what my classes are about, is not so much us worrying about you hitting a wall with what the curriculum says, as much as you taking this course as an opportunity for you to go and do something different. And that's also I mean, that's 99% of my collaborations in general outside of school, is that I end up meeting people that have ideas that they want to bring to life, and they may not know how, and I may not know how, but I'll go and seek out expertise in that space. I mean, everything from laser cutting to 3D printing to the cultural side of behind an artist project, of understanding the meaning of why you make art, and how you can take intermodal art and make it into fine art, meaning art that means something to you or to a culture, and understanding the fine art aspects of it, and understanding that maybe fine art isn't always what gives art soul. That there's so much more to it. So just a reminder, this is Ask Me Anything, so you can feel free to ask me more questions. I will keep talking about random stuff until someone asks me a pointed question again. I'm also going to share another link where Philip shows the Arduino follow focus in action. Actually, he has another video up here that's also interesting that I'll share. Some of y'all may have seen it, but most of y'all probably haven't. This video is a video that I had some students that knew I had been going to racetracks as part of my dissertation, and they wanted to see how tactical driving worked. And so I was like, well, they do tactical training up there. Like, y'all want to go shoot some video? And they were like, sure. So I took about, I think it was like 3 or 4 students, and we spent the day out there shooting some tactical videos using some DSLRs, some GoPros, and yeah, the video that you see is just a sample of what we did. We ended up going back like a year or 2 later and doing off-road tactical video, which was a lot of fun as well. So I mean, it's there's always interesting stuff going on in terms of creativity in the courses. So all right, so what's the next question? Let me move some of this stuff. I have my screen all open. I have a lot of stuff going on. This was all in 230 class. It sounds so fun. Well, in the 230 class, so what I do is, like, when I teach is I'm guiding you through examples of what people have done. And the hardest part of the courses that I teach is that it really is self-motivated. So if you wanted to sit back in my class and just be like, whatever, I'm just going to do what I need to do to get by, like, you can do that. I mean, you can do that in my class, and I mean, you'll probably do okay, but everybody will see it. We watch everybody's projects together, and an effort is seen. And so what ends up happening is I'll have office hours, and I have students come in, and we start learning things, and we all start hanging out, and we start having people just come in and work on projects, whether it's for school or for a business idea you have, an art project you have. And I try and create community where it's not so much just the class requirements of making projects. It's like you have an enthusiasm for it. So at A&M right now, and I teach at A&M College Station, we have a group chat that we've been using over the pandemic, but we had been meeting up in person, and that was like really cool. We had a really nice array of people that were coming, and it just was a really, really nice setup. I have a lab, and we have cameras and microphones and computers and electronics. And yeah, now that we're Mark's asking about the how my business has adapted to the pandemic. I guess I'll talk about the teaching first, since that's where I'm at right now. Now that we're doing mainly online, I've been doing AMAs to kind of share information and get discussion going. And then I'm slowly getting ready to kind of start doing some Zoom sessions and some Zoom, maybe even some Zoom conferences where I get a group of people together for an hour or 2, and we have a conference Zoom session where I just want these people to meet. I want people to maybe just introduce themselves and talk about what it is that they do, and kind of just grow an appreciation for each other's work. And I don't mean that at like a professional level. I mean it like at an amateur level. The amateur means for the love of. So I'm not looking to just put all of these like super accomplished people together. I'm looking to put together a strata of people that are at different levels of their journey and their profession, so that you can help people below you, and you can help people above you by showing what you're working on. And that, to me, that's like this reciprocal space that people can really benefit from. That's where I've seen the most growth occur, is when I would have young students come in, work with graduate students, and then go work in the professional world and get to see everybody meet up and exchange information and techniques and the way that they've learned. So yeah, so it's not so much just that it's all that you learn in that class. It's more that when you go to take that class, there's a lot of other stuff that we do, and you can people can come sit in on my classes and check them out. I don't know how that's going to work, with COVID right now, but I'll see what happens. Right now, I'm slated, personally, I'm slated to teach all online this fall, but I'm going to work on, oh, that's funny. You just haven't asked, do you think we'll actually be back to in-class teaching in fall at TAMU with the increased amount of cases? Ha, that's funny. Um, I don't plan to, but that said, maybe they'll make me. I don't know. I've been, I went to campus a couple of weeks ago. I guess like at the beginning of the month, and I met up with two other colleagues. We wore our masks, and we social distanced, and it was crazy. I mean, it was like just the three of us walking around each other was interesting enough. Let alone how you actually like are going to figure this out with thousands of people on campus, because that's what it's going to end up being. I mean, at A&M, I mean, we have 70,000 students. Say, I don't know, say 20 or 30,000 are on campus at a time. We'll give a really nice benefit of the doubt, plus all the faculty and everybody. I mean, I don't see it working out if our desire is for people not to get the virus, which I think is reasonable. Though, politically, I'll stay like neutral and say like, whatever you believe is what you believe. But I think if that's what our goal is, which is what the university has been saying, then I just don't see how we're going to do it do it in person. I think we are going to have to wait this out. But that's just me. I mean, I'm just a person. Like, I don't speak for the university. It says, do you play Grand Theft Auto 5? I'm making my final for your Com 340 class over it and its influence on both single and multiplayer games in the current gen. No, I have not played GTA 5. But that sounds totally interesting. Like, I'm really interested to see what your video is. Juan is in my popular culture. That's what 340 is. And man, I have gotten to see so many great projects on so many different topics. I've gotten to assign all kinds of different readings and video. Well, not so much readings, but to me, readings are like videos for y'all to watch. And it's been really cool to see y'all react, especially this recent one that I put out. Yeah, I remember the Parasite. That was great. That was great. I mean, great video, like in terms of production. So no, I think you did well on that one. But yeah, the courses that I'm teaching, it's just really up in the air as to how we're going to be able to move forward during this pandemic. I'm almost having to think like beyond the pandemic, kind of like maybe we really are going to have to pause, right? Maybe we really are going to have to kind of stop for a little bit. I don't know. I don't even know what I mean by that. I don't know what the implications of me saying that are, but I just know that it's not quite working out the way we thought it was. Everybody's hope was that it would, we would have a fall in cases, and it's just, that is not what has happened. It's gone up. Businesses are having a hard time with it. It's spreading in all kinds of different spaces. I have students that have gotten it. I have friends, I have family that have gotten it, and all different levels, from being in the hospital and passing away because of pre-existing conditions to, barely even knowing you have it and it bothering you for a day. So I just don't know how I would even, like, and this may sound weird, but like how I would emotionally deal with it happening all around me, being physically there on campus with people kind of possibly just being fine and possibly having huge complications, and knowing that by us meeting up, we're kind of inciting that. So we're in a weird time. We're in a really weird time. So, Mark, you asked me how my business is doing here at the shop. I assume is what you meant with our hi-fi. And so that's been really interesting because, hi-fi, we sell turntables, amps, and speakers for listening to music for fun in the home. I have about 1,000 records here. And then, like I said, I use Amazon Unlimited, but I also have iTunes Music, and I have almost every streaming service that you can think of. The only one I don't have, which I'm just being stubborn about is Spotify. Well, I guess I don't have Tidal as well. I could have Tidal. They use MQA for the nerds out there. But we've just had it change. So right before COVID, we were doing so well that we had sold more in 3 months than we had all of last year. That's how well we were doing. And now we're doing as well as we were doing last year. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not like we did horrible last year. So I mean, we're good and we're going to be fine. Our business structure allows us to have a really low overhead, which benefits us and puts us in a really good position compared to our competitors. A lot of our competitors are really feeling it. Luckily for us, we have a really great relationship with our distributor and or our distributors, because we carry Grotto, which is made in Brooklyn, New York. And so we work directly with them. And then we carry Riga, which is distributed by this company called the Sound Organization. And we also carry Fine Audio loudspeakers. And so as a small business owner, it's been interesting. We have sold some stuff online, not like online as in with a shopping cart system, because the stuff we sell is too, in my opinion, people do buy this way, but I want to talk to them at least through email, if not through phone, which all of mine have been through phone, with first being contacted online through email. We've been selling some speakers and some electronics to people. We've been drop shipping, which has been nice. But it's definitely been a different kind of rhythm and pace to how we do it, because we're not having people come into our shop. I've had a handful of people come, I mask up, they mask up, but we have not done too much showroom sales over the past 3 months. So that's really different. I've slowed down kind of on buying demo models. I've been wanting to buy a Riga P10, which is a $10,000 turntable. And I've kind of been holding off on that just because it's like, well, I mean, why get a $10,000 turntable and have it at the shop on display if, we're really not going to have that many people coming to the shop right now. On the other hand, of course, someone called me up and was like, hey, I'd like to hear like the biggest system you have. And I'm like, oh man, totally already have that turntable, but I've been holding off on it. But anyways, so it's been going well. And then so what I've been doing and my business partner have been doing is we've been working on our social media presence, and that has been going very well. We have a YouTube channel, and I think before COVID happened, I know we had. I'm like almost 100% sure we had less than 100 subscribers. How are your customers making purchasing decisions if they don't come to the store? So I talk to them a lot, and that's the intangible about buying from me rather than just buying from someone at Best Buy or buying from someone that owns a hi-fi store but doesn't actually carry all of the products. So what is advantageous about me is that when I say I have a lot of demos, like we have pretty much every single demo except for this Riga P10 that I want to get for Riga. I mean, we pretty much carry their whole line. And so that kind of is a great question, because what I started doing was, if you look at the link that I sent out to our channel, I just started creating videos like this Riga loudspeaker video that's on there. And I have some other videos that are about to drop where I go and I take all of the demos that we have, like demo equipment that we have for that brand or that segment, and I just do a full overview of them, what the differences are, how they sound. And it's really caused us to, one, we've grown our subscribers substantially. We've gotten positive feedback from the manufacturers telling us thank you. Our videos, as you can see, like it's a very niche thing that that we sell. I mean, these products cost between, probably like $300 to $20,000, each piece, and averaging like $500 to $2,000 is kind of like what most people are going to be buying in that range. And then you'll sell a couple of $4,000 to $8,000 things, and then $8,000 to $20,000 is going to be a little less frequent, but we still have that. Says, yep. So your customers are already informed. Yeah, like they're going and they're searching all over the internet, and that's one of the things that our older competitors had a really big, I don't want to say chip on their shoulder, but like they were just like, the internet's ruining everything, and like people should have to come into the shop, and like we need to regulate, and and I'm just kind of like, I agree with you all that it would be ideal for customers to come in and be able to get an experience where they sit down and hear what I have to say and hear everything. But that is not the direction commerce has gone, especially with COVID. People aren't going to be as willing to come in, so you need to adapt. You've got to take your stuff online. You've got to figure out how to do this. So, with my background in video and photography, I was able to really take it and run with it in a way that we, all of our video are, there's no stock footage. None of our videos have stock. It's all shot by us. All of the photos on there are photos that I took. And so when people are looking at our equipment, they're seeing like, oh, okay, like they're not just saying, here are the stock photos of this thing and what we think it's going to be, or it's like, no, this is like us opening it. And so we've surprisingly gotten a lot of comments. We've had a lot of people like responding and asking questions and going back and forth. And I mean, people from all over the world. I mean, I'll be like, someone's like, well, how much is this in pounds? And I'm like, let me go get the calculator and go figure this out, because it's made in the UK. Do you convert your YouTube videos to articles on your website? Could be somewhat easy since you could export subtitles generated from YouTube. We have not been doing that. But so here's the interesting thing. I do not handle, this may sound crazy, but I do not handle any of our social media or website accounts. So my business partner, Christian Rios, handles all of it. And so he is a really interesting character. I love working with Christian. He was a student of mine at UIW. And he's someone that just like obsesses about creating genuine accounts, creating genuine interaction. And so while our numbers aren't like, what you would think of as someone thinking, oh, Joey, you have 227 subscribers on DreamNoise. I mean, I have like 560 or something like that on my own account. But each one of these are earned subscribers. Like they're like our I mean, go look at our views. Like our views are higher than our subscribers, right? So we're doing well, having high engagement. We're actually doing quite well with that. So it's just kind of like a different approach that Christian uses, and I've come to respect and appreciate. So it's been really different. It says, yeah, but you reach the exact audience you want. Yeah, and that is what's nice, is that, because the other thing is that we, I'm teaching 3 courses right now, and then the hobbies that I have are just crazy. I mean, I have civic engagement like projects that I'm working on right now. I'm working with the city on cleaning up our whole block. Yeah, Christian's approach. Yeah, and then I have a power washing obsession. So like I've been buying like this all these power washing accessories, which is really crazy. And then I do car detailing. I work on cars. My kid and my wife and I are really into Legos, so like we're doing Legos nonstop. And I don't know, we just have a lot of different things. I'm into cycling, and so if I had people just calling me and kind of like time wasting questions like, I have this old Technics turntable and it's supposed to be the best one ever. It was in this review in 1974, and I want to hook it up to these speakers, but I want to use lamp cable. But people are saying that I should be using better cable. I'm just kind of like, I mean, I would need that person to come in and be like, look, like what we do has nothing to do with what you just talked about. And I mean that in the like most respectful way. I mean, everything that we sell is handmade in England. And if it's not, it's designed and then manufactured overseas. But like our Riga equipment that we sell, there's even like 25, 30-year-old, 40-year-old pieces of equipment from Riga, and it's like it still works, and it was hand built then, and people bring it in, and like I can service it. It's not like stamped out electronics from the 70s, where someone's like, oh, it has these colors and these blue dials, and oh, my woofers are all rotted out, but I just need those repaired. It's like, no, everything still works, and it may just need some updating or some freshening. But for the most part, the equipment that we're selling it's really high end, and not always in terms of price, but in terms of the approach to making it. Riga, for some of y'all that were listening earlier, that I think Daniel says electrical engineer. You look at their amp designs and you look at their CD player, for example. Like their CD player uses its own transport code. It doesn't use Sony's. It doesn't use Philips. They developed their own. They worked with a separate company in Britain to develop their own way of gathering the data off this CD and buffering it and creating a way to really make sure that the jitter's reduced. And so when you say like, oh, well, there's a Riga Planet, which is like their first CD player from 1997, which by the way was like, almost 15 years after the CD player came out. When you get one of those, like they're still worth like $200-300, and really like $300 or $400, and they cost like $700 or $800 when they were new. This stuff is made in a very substantial way. So a lot of tattoo shops suffered, but he will be able to do sanitary one-on-one sessions in a private studio. Yeah, no. Anything with contact, personal contact, has been very tough. I have to go on an entrepreneurial rant, not so much on my own business. I watched my friends, like his name's Jeremy Jacob, owns Float SA, where people go into sensory deprivation tanks and float and kind of just relax. And I had to watch them close up shop and not know when they're going to open back up. They've been open. They've been taking huge sanitary initiatives and doing everything by the book. But as we saw literally today, I mean, they closed all the bars today in Texas. If you're listening in here in Texas, all the bars are closed. Can't go back in because we're having too much of a spike. And then I have another friend that owns Armadillo Boulders, which is a rock climbing company, a rock climbing gym, bouldering gym. And they had to close. Then they had to both of these businesses opened in the past 2-3 years, and so it wasn't like these are like huge established, millionaire owners. It was like people that were putting their heart and sweat and just starting to get some success, and got taken back down to zero and going like, okay, can you really thrive? I mean, that's what COVID is doing for the entrepreneurs out there. It's really challenging them to say, I know you said you saw a market segment, or you had your pitch deck, or you had this idea, but is it really viable? So anything person to person right now is it's highly, it's tough. I mean, they also just, I think they also just restricted all voluntary surgeries. Like went back to that. And so we're at a time where it's just very, very different. We're at a very different time of people having to rethink what it means to have human interaction. I know here at the shop, we, like I said, we wear our masks. I have sanitary hand sanitizer. I have a thermometer that the city gave me. We're trying to be as cautious as possible. And so far, knock on plexiglass right here and the wood underneath, we've been doing okay. But any interaction is going to create some potential for people to spread. But yeah, I've gone to the climbing gym, and I wore my mask, used the hand sanitizer. I'm a cautiously optimistic person. So I guess what I mean by that is that I'm going to follow all the rules that are stated, but I'm also going to go out and try and see what I can create that's normal for me. Juan asks, "Are you in BCS?" I am currently in San Antonio, Texas. That's where I'm from. That's where I grew up. I taught in San Antonio until 2017. I lived in Austin from 99 to 2010. My permanent address is in BCS. So I live in College Station, but for the summers, my wife's a school teacher. We come back and we hang out here all summer. My family lives here, and it's just, it's just different. In BCS, I have a pretty hard time finding things to do, and then with everything shut down, it's just been that much harder. So we just stayed over here, and like I said, I've been working on some city projects here in San Antonio, dealing with some homelessness and drug and prostitute issues in our community. And so that's definitely been one of the reasons I've also been down here staying busy, is just working through those issues. Are there any other questions? Has this been useful? I'll give you all a couple of seconds to reply. I've also been watching like co-working spaces have a really hard time getting people back in. The numbers are really low. For those that don't know what a co-working space is, it's a space where people come together and work on projects in parallel, or business projects in parallel. And it tends to be a really great place to build community and get to know people and learn skills you don't know, but they know, and you teach them skills but they don't know. And that's been also been tough. It's like it's been tough to watch that. I hear 10-Bit Works is closed, which is a hackerspace here in town in San Antonio. So that's been unfortunate to see that they aren't open. And I know that Geekdom is like kind of slowly opened. I know that man, I can't remember her co-working space's name. But a lot of people they're having to go virtual. So I've done a couple of guest lectures, guest talks at different entrepreneurial spaces, like Launch SA has had some virtual stuff. I missed San Antonio Entrepreneurship Week, I think. Says you should check out Doom Patrol, are probably the best superhero show out there right now. I'll check it out. What's it on? Is it on like Netflix, Hulu, any platform that you think I should check it out on? Very informative, definitely. Yeah. So HBO Max. Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, I mean, the virtual events are plentiful. The only thing is that, like, in this, I mean, that probably happened with this, is that you just miss so many of them. There's so many going on, and right now this week I'm literally grading like 400 projects. I thought it was 200, and then I realized all the other smaller assignments I needed to grade, and I realized this is about 400. So I've done about probably 150 so far, maybe 200, and so I'm getting close to closing them out. But the amount of media that I consume has just been crazy. I've been looking to make some stuff that would change up conventional virtual events. Yeah, I mean, I have such a hard time with virtual events myself. I've just been quiet about how I want to deal with it, how I want to deal with interacting with other people. it's been really weird for me because I'm really extroverted, but I also notice that I still, as extroverted as I am, I have anxiety about interacting with people. I know that may sound weird, but that's just kind of how I am. And so when I do virtual discussions, it's like I really want to have like a, I don't know, if I'm going to do like a Zoom style, like where we're interacting, not just like an AMA like I'm doing right now. I want to do like 4 to 10 people discussions and circle around. And I would love to kind of be able to interact with people like that, once a week or something like that. And even then, I'm still having a hard time. I have gone on some social distance rides, like where everybody wears their mask the whole time, and we're social distance, so we're spread out. We're not like riding right next to each other, and that's been interesting. Knock on wood, that's been safe. But yeah, just we're in a crazy time, and there's just so much potential. I help run the Aggies for Biden Twitter. Getting a following is easy, but getting people to show up to events is so difficult. So yeah, it's getting people to show up before COVID in San Antonio and in Bryan College Station was very difficult. Very difficult. You'd have everybody tell you they want to show up, and then it's like crickets. My biggest recommendation is to just keep having them and keep inviting people. And when you have events, they have, in my opinion, this is my opinion, they have to be very sincere. And they need to offer something that people just aren't going to get to experience if they were just online. So for me, like when I was running our meetups every week, which started out as once a month, and then the students were like, no, we want to meet every weekend. And so we made it so that it was like a Wednesday, Tuesday a setup, because the students, some of them could, had a class on that Wednesday and just couldn't do it. So we alternated it. And when people would show up, it's like we would, when we started, we'd have like 2-4 people show up. And by the end, we were having 10-15 people show up, but highly engaged, highly interactive, wanting to know what's going on, wanting to get experience and feedback on the projects they were working on and the things that they were interested in. And I think that, when you're trying to build up events, especially virtual events, it's like, I've been thinking about, well, how do we have people feel valued and like feel like not only are they attending, but like it mattered that they attended. It mattered for them and it mattered for the group that they were there. So that's something I've been thinking about. We've hit 1:00. I'm sorry about the big mess up at the beginning with my audio. I got to look into my interface and see what's happening. I'll do more tests. But thank you all so much for watching. I had a great time seeing all of you all ask questions and interact. For the lurkers, like hello in the back. But I'm going to head out, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll do another AMA next week, so take it easy.